immense pride in being from the island. My father was a shining star of Puerto Rico.
She was the first one here and was just like, I'm gonna get this money and I'm gonna take care of my family. The woman is a force.
The Caribbean people came here to America to work.
We make sure that we never lose our culture. We try our best to kind of continue to pass that down for generations.
You can literally island hop in Flatbush. You could go from Haiti to Grenada to Trinidad to Jamaica.
Make sure you get that color over here. Look, that is good.
This is one of the best samples of a melting pot inside the society.
For your help. All right, so we are adding, look at this, because and it will be our responsibility to make sure when Grandma comes in the evening, we water these. That's our little thing. Look at it. Here, let's go. Ah, there go my mommy. Oh, there. There go my mommy right there. Now, I was talking about you, and I said she could continue. You're fine. Yeah. Say. Come. Good. Yeah. Say hi. Hi. Hello. How are you? I'm fine, thanks.
You bought some ginger, and then you bought some plantain. Car, you want some plantain? And some ackee and codfish.
So nice because you have to take
It looks good to me. And some more ginger.
Yeah.
You're there.
Car, you want some plantain?
You're there.
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot you there.
My grandmother is just a force to be reckoned with. And I think that when you kind of see her talk, isn't that a cute little old lady? Like, no. She is a G. She was the first one here and was just like, I'm gonna get this money and I'm gonna take care of my family. And as a immigrant Black woman at the time that she came, for her to have been able to gain education, work multiple jobs in a high position, buy multiple property, by herself, sell it back, refinance, sell it back, take the money, throw it to Jamaica, take this one, buy 2 more properties, rent them out. Like, the woman is a force. Another bite?
Yeah.
Come.
I'm very proud of my daughter, Carol. Very proud of my granddaughter, Onika. It was very fun of watching my granddaughter growing up because I did not have much chance in watching my daughter growing up because she was born in England, but because of my training, I had to send her to Jamaica to grow with her aunt and my mother. So watching my granddaughter growing up was my delight. I've missed out all the love and cherish her, watching her grow, watching her go into school, watching her improve in her classes. And she was a very brilliant girl. She worked very hard. All I could do is compensate her with clothes and love that I could do. So when my granddaughter arrived, I have all the chance to give her all the love that she needed. And my granddaughter was a delight to me. I raised her like my own.
You look pretty good.
Thank you.
You look like a young thing. Looks young. You know, I think that there's some, it's painful a little bit that, you know, for my grandmother, that she came here and she was grinding it out and sending the money and making sure that my mom had all things, but she didn't get to experience all parts of that childhood, you know? And that's the sacrifice that a lot of immigrants make, just trying to make ends meet and make sure that their kids don't have to go through the same struggles that they went through. And even more so with Carter. Carter is the crown jewel of her crown. So she's done it. She's done it, and now she can just kind of sit back and just watch the fruits of her labor.
We're doing our science class. Where's Carter's science? Carter, I decided to wear an apron to match you. If you would like to wear, that's okay. That's okay. I'm glad to see your energy.
I was born in England, raised in Jamaica, and came to the US. 3 years in England. I don't remember much of what happened in England, but I certainly things fall into place, and these days I remember more of what happened in Jamaica. I think I always remember how proud Auntie B, that was a teacher, my aunt who was head of school, was of my learning, even though I was full of fear a lot of times, like, oh, it's too much, it's too much. But then I grew to love learning. I think her confidence in me really buoyed me up, because to this day I know I can do anything.
Oh, there it goes.
No.
There it goes. Oh, Lord. Your Carter loves food coloring. Poor Monique and I, every week we clean.
When I think of Carter, my heart is so full that I don't know where to begin. But I think I see in Carter, and I've never said this to my daughter out loud, he is brilliant. Because I love the way he just connects one thing to the next, and he sees them. I also love he has a quiet way of receiving information, thinking on it, thinking on that piece of information, and really, at the oddest of moments, just tell the story.
And up it goes. The lava, the lava, the lava. Woo! Yeah. I love this kid. You can come to my science class anytime.
Education is huge in my family. Caribbean people, Jamaican people like to provide to their children is a good education, because it means that in their mind, the way it was explained to me growing up, is that they're providing them opportunity, providing them access. If you're educated, then you can utilize your education to drive yourself forward.
Oh, boy.
My mom is a ton of fun. You know, the way you see my mom now, that's how she's always been. She had experiments with me in the house, and she's taking me to Broadway, and she's doing it like all the time. But when it comes to my education, she's not playing with me. One of the proudest points in my mom's life and my grandmother's life was when I got into Brown. I think the reason why it was such a highlight for my family is because Brown is an Ivy League institution in America, you know, and the first generation that we produced is going to a place that this country deems as elite. So we made it. We did it. You know, and they did. They have other kind of sorrel, but one time Joel bought it's kind of more like a Trini sorrel, and it didn't taste the same. So we always make sure we get the Jamaican sorrel. And this is the good thing about, you know, living around here. You just go to Utica Avenue or Flatbush, or really Utica, and you just buy it.
And it actually says Jamaican on it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Right?
I am satisfied that my daughter is, first of all, herself, and herself is kind and smart, with a sense of self, and poised and intelligent, and she uses all of those things to coexist with people around her. I am happy that she's not sold her soul in order to become.
So today what I'm making is the Haitian dish griot. So we're making a little bit of a more sort of modern interpretation. That is good. I'm like super into cooking. I definitely believe in using fat to cook things, so I use the leftover pork fat from cooking the griot earlier, and I cooked the rice in the pork fat with that piece. It tastes great. So we are gonna pull out. This is our broiled griot. Make sure you get that color over here. Look, you can't even tell it's not fried, you know? Yeah, look at that. That is really good. This is pickles that I made. Pickles is like a spicy Haitian slaw that we pretty much put on everything. For a dish like griot, which is super fatty, it's great because there's a lot of acid in it. So it's like a mixture of vinegar and lime, and then it has a bunch of different like slaw components. And you know, the acid really helps cut through that fat, and it just makes it just a much better bite. Also have some food from Nana that she provided. So this is ackee and saltfish, and this is traditional Jamaican food.
You have to explain to people that I can cook. I just don't cook, you know?
I mean, I've never seen it, so.
That's a lie. What a lie. What? No, that's awful.
Caribbean people came to America looking for a better future. They brought their culture, their ideas, their different languages. We are talking here about more than 700 islands, countries. So what we got here was a completely different thing, something that enriched our culture and make us better. The Caribbean people are, in general terms, working people. So most of them came from humble origins. They came here to America to work. Every main city in the United States has the mark or the influx of Caribbean people. But mainly Caribbean people are located in Florida and New York. We are talking here about more than 8 million of people who have to do with the Caribbean culture, the Caribbean region, or people who are descending from people who originally came from there. And so, yeah, their impact is huge, it's tremendous. One of the best samples of a melting pot inside the society. So we are gonna find here every kind of people. People from the Caribbean, people of Latin American, and what is most important, people who are struggling to get into the United States. So what are we gonna be seeing all around here is like businesses, people just living their normal lives. But what is really interesting about this place is the fact that there are no boundaries. Everything gets here or gets together. Everything is mixed. You cannot separate people from this or that country. Everything is together. Signs are in Spanish. Spanish are in English. So probably this is one of the best examples of what can be the union of different cultures in a same place. As you can see here, we have Mercado de las Americas. This is a local business. It belongs to a person who immigrated and just established here. You would ask yourself, this is United States or this is America? Yeah, it is. But is America or is the United States with all its complexity and creating this amazing space that we find here. Botanica are religious stores where you can find almost everything that you need in order to make a ritual. But it's more than that. What we are gonna get here is religious objects, mystic elements, people from all around Latin America and the Caribbean, and again, there is nothing pure here. Everything is mixed. You're gonna find every kind of objects with Puerto Rican religious traditions, and of course, Africa is inside all of these places. Africa, the Afro-Caribbean traditions, and of course, the Afro-Latin American elements that are inside every single life. But as you can see, there are also some kind of potions and liquids that are intended to work for your own good. So all of these are like potions and religious artifacts. Some of these are theoretically supposed to bring money, love, and good luck. So if you go to any Caribbean people house, you're gonna find that they use these religious artifacts also as part of decoration. Ah, sí? Vaya. So what we are seeing here is the life culture of a people in the United States.
Honestly, I think that if we boiled down what the American story is, we're all just blending into what has been created in this country. There's not really an ideal American culture that doesn't factor in all of the immigrants that made it up.
My father was a shining star of Puerto Rico. He's always carried that flag of being Hispanic and Puerto Rican around the world.
Don't hurt yourself.
It's fine. I'll just put it on the plate.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just put on the paper plate?
Yeah, I'll just put it on a plate,
Okay.
and then I'll just wrap it with aluminum foil. And so I'm gonna make a plate for you and a plate for Nana, right?
Yeah. Make sure you leave food for yourself. Don't be silly.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You know me. You don't have to twist my arm.
you know, my mom, the way she is today is the way she has always been. She's always a lot of fun. She's always high energy. And it's like, I think sometimes parents like forfeit their like individuality or their personality or humanity for, it's not good. Your kids want to see you be like an effervescent person. Like, so mommy she was a great mom, very responsible, but when it was time to party, it was time to party, you know? You're welcome. Bye, Mom. Bye-bye.
One of the things that I can definitely say is that, you know, I recognized immediately that we shared sort of like a lot of like family values, and, you know, very caring, very hardworking people. And, you know, once they sort of like let you into the clan, they like protect you like, you know, a Rottweiler or something, you know, like you're like one of theirs, you know?
He's absolutely right. We are very protective. We are very outspoken about like protecting one another and making sure everybody is good. But I've learned a ton about him, his family, his culture, and I really enjoyed that. Joel and I were both born in America.
Both first gen.
And the concept of, like, you know, how do you contend with that? And how, you know, we're American born, but we're very Caribbean in our soul. And I think that's because you really can't necessarily separate out layers and portions of self, right? You know, I think we both have a foundation in both of our families that was very Caribbean. Caribbean values, Caribbean lifestyle, way of life, reason for being in America in the first place. And that doesn't just go away, poof. You know, I think when you're raised in that, it becomes ingrained in how you think, in your perception of life, in your personality, and then your identity.
I mean, I think also we're super lucky, right? Because we grew up in this area, in, you know, New York City area, which is like super diverse. All my friends were like, you know, Filipino and Dominican and Puerto Rican and, you know, Pakistani, and there's some were Muslim and some were Christian and some are Hindu. And you would go to your friend's house and like their parents would be speaking to them in another language, or like, you know, their food would be definitely like something you might not be accustomed to when you walk in, and like the aroma just hits you, you know? We're very used to just sort of like having one foot in multiple cultures, you know?
Hey, is Cart hungry or are you guys good? You want some food? He's not hungry? Okay, if he doesn't want to eat it, he ate the patty already. All right then, all right. Honestly, I think that if we boiled down what the American story is, we're all just blending into what has been created in this country. There's not really an ideal American culture that doesn't factor in all of the immigrants that made it up. And so for me and my family, the goal wasn't assimilation. The goal was to stand very strong and be very cognizant of my identity, and then take that and use that to be a force within the environment that I was in. When I was growing up, we went to Sunday dinner at my grandmother's every single Sunday. 4 o'clock, we went over to my grandmother's every Sunday and we had dinner. So even though we get, you know, once I get older, really after college, I couldn't do it as often. But anytime that we're sitting down and having a meal and it's traditional Caribbean food, I always like to take a picture and send it and say, see, I'm still a good little Caribbean girl. I'm still sitting down with my family and eating a meal, so.
I think also there's this sense of, you know, pride that comes with being Haitian. You know, Haitians being like the first independent Black republic, you know, the first to like just like overthrow, you know, their colonizers, and have like an independent state. And I think there's a lot of sense of like, oh, like we could like do anything. And I think for like our son, like that's definitely something that we work really hard to instill into Carter. We want to expose him to as many things as possible so that he like has a really sort of expansive worldview where he like knows that all of these possibilities exist.
We thank the Lord for what we're about to receive. God bless our union, our bond, our family, our love, our neighborhood, our community.
Hi, Michelle. How are you, Michelle?
I'm fine, thank you, Shelly. And how are you?
Good. How is it being in Little Caribbean?
Well, as you can see, it's nice, all delicious here. Good, good, good food. Best jerk chicken ever.
Exactly. Right. This is the closest you get to being back home in Jamaica. Like, this is an iconic institutional place. I remember when this was Danny and Peppers. Yes, it's perfect. And put some on here too. My name is Shelly Vidia Worrell. I'm the founder of Caribbean and also of Little Caribbean NYC. We are a leading platform for Caribbean arts, culture, heritage, and lifestyle. Caribbean started in 2010. We actually started as a film festival. So the first festival that was dedicated exclusively to Caribbean cinema in New York City. Later came the Caribbean House, which is right behind me, and then after came Little Caribbean. So Kenya, this is actually from our 4th annual holiday market. I wanted to create a space where it wasn't about only being Trinidadian or Haitian or Jamaican or Cuban, right? It was really about this shared identity. Because as much as we have sort of things that separate us, there are a lot of things that unite us as well. This is one of our customs, so we're moving more into that space. This did really well, Kenya, so I think we should do more. I'm really looking forward. I think maybe we should change the packaging for the summer, like to something lighter, maybe the gold or like a rose gold maybe.
Yeah, a brighter color would be actually
Yeah.
really nice.
I spent my first year in grad school studying cultural heritage tourism. I had already started doing walking tours of the neighborhood with the Municipal Art Society. And what I learned from those walks was that everyone wanted to know about the food. Everyone wanted to know, well, where are you getting the best jerk chicken? Where is the best roti? And not only where is the best roti and jerk, like how do you eat it? We have 2 Little Italies in New York. We have 3 Chinatowns. There's K-Town, there's Little Odessa, so why not us? We actually make up 20% of New Yorkers. You can literally island hop in Flatbush, right? You can go in like a 5-block radius. You could go from Haiti to Grenada, to Trinidad, to Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. It's all here. And so I started asking a number of stakeholders, why isn't there a Little Caribbean? The Caribbean Americans have contributed, as I mentioned, politically, culturally, and of course economically, right? I mean, so, you know, we are you know, part of the society, right? We own houses, we own businesses, you know, we're employed. So there's been tremendous economic contributions as well. So this street is co-named after a very famous Grenadian diplomat. He was also one of the architects of the West Indian American Day Parade, and he lived on this block. I believe his family still lives on this block. So Dr. Stanislaus. And then just beyond that tattoo parlor is Scoops, and that is one of the first Caribbean businesses on this corridor. When you go to Calle Ocho, right? Or you go to Little Haiti, or you go to Little Italy, is that you see a concentration of merchants that are from that culture, right? And so that's what we have here in Little Caribbean, and it's beautiful.
I'm the Vice President of People and Culture for a New York-based restaurant group that's called Fox Lifestyle Hospitality. So I hire, I train, I do strategic planning, I do infrastructure building, I do some design, I do coaching, right? I do a lot of different things. Hard work is very normalized. It was very normalized in my family. It's expected. That mixed with my belief in God and divine purpose, I think that's what's helped me to be successful. And so I think that's definitely a common denominator that I think has aided in the success of a lot of people from the Caribbean, and a lot of Jamaicans in particular, is this idea that you have to work hard to get what you want, that you have a purpose, and that you have the ability and the aptitude to recognize your purpose. I was born in New York, I was bred in New York, and I love New York. And I think the #1 reason why I love New York is because there's this just dynamic, inspiring frenzy of culture. And just in my company alone, right? Because I'm in the hospitality industry that has massive restaurants in Midtown Manhattan, right? One of the busiest places within New York. We see national and international guests all the time. Our actual staff and our employee base are national and international based as well, coming to New York. And that has made us better. Even on the executive board, for instance, there's more women than men. You know, we have somebody who is from Ireland, we have someone who's Asian, we have somebody who's Latino, we have me who is an African-American woman with Caribbean heritage. So we make sure intentionally that that our company reflects the diversity that is in New York. At least in my life, working collaboratively with multiple entities of lots of different backgrounds and nationalities and ethnicities has always helped me. I definitely think that as we move along, we're trying harder and harder as a community and as a country to be more conscious of the fact that there are those inequities and hopefully we can do something about them on a deeper level. Kamara is my just unbelievably talented goddaughter and just beautiful inside and out, right? And so my best friend is from St. Vincent and her family's from St. Vincent. And when Kamara was born, you know, listen, we were still having fun. We didn't have any responsibilities. And Kamara came along and she was the first, you know, baby in our life, really. And I was so obsessed with her. I would take her everywhere. I just loved her so much. And she's grown into just this very smart, sophisticated young lady.
My name's Kamara Neptune. I'm 10 years old and I'm from Brooklyn. I see myself American and Caribbean because I was born in America, but I'm also Caribbean, and all my family's there. My family's from St. Vincent. It's near St. Lucia and Trinidad in the Caribbean. I feel good that I'm from a different place because I can teach people about my cultures. I can share like different foods and with other people that may not know about it. I like oxtail, I like rice and peas. I like roti. When I really miss St. Vincent, I like to call my family and talk to them. What I love about being Caribbean is I'm able to share my culture in different ways. I like to go swimming. I like to go to the park. I like to ride my bike, play the trumpet, play with my brother. In this country, I feel like I can learn about other people's cultures while teaching people about mine.
Kamara, he's just been such a good role model for the kids, and is so good at babysitting. I'm like, you know, so that's it's really awesome to see. But her family is also really great with incorporating, you know, who she is into their daily life and creating a really great village around her so that she can communicate her origins in a really easy way.
All right, yeah, come on down. This first one right here is called Pretty Punch. And so this one is basically meant to be like a facial in a bottle. So for this, the base of it is a butterfly pea flower tea, which is really great for your skin. You can see we're on our day off, but obviously we're still working. And I think that's really a trait that's sort of synonymous with like coming to America and trying to achieve the American dream. The base of it is a butterfly pea flower tea that we make. And so for this one, again, this is a lot more delicate than the last one. We have a Caribbean juice company, Caribbean-inspired tonics, called Hearth Tonics. And the inspiration behind it was actually Nikki's grandma. So that was the initial inspiration because, and you know, this is like all throughout the Caribbean, you know, you'll have like older folks that like when people are sick, they like make these like homebrew remedies and so, you know, they're making these for everybody, for friends and family. And one day I'm like, why don't we start selling these things? But this one is filled with plant-based collagen, a lot of antioxidizing berries in there. And there's a little bit of kick from Scotch bonnet pepper, super popular. Yeah, so basically the blend of the ginger and the Scotch bonnet pepper gives you like a little punch. That's why we call it Pretty Punch. It's like good for your skin and it's also, you know, has a little punch to it.
I love it. This one, I'm a big cinnamon, really big cinnamon fan. And my mom is also from the Caribbean. She's Puerto Rican, so I love the spices in this, and like definitely reminds me of like holiday drinks and like warm, very like warm spices.
It's awesome, man. I mean, the Scotch bonnet gives a little kick. I love spicy drinks. It's a thing for me, so I was very happy to have a drink with a little kick to it.
The American melting pot is what actually makes America what it is, right? Like, nobody would want to come to America if we didn't have all of this like confluence of cultures. Like it's like, especially like New York City, like who would want to come here if it was homogenous, right? Like one of the reasons you come here is because you can experience the whole world, you know, borough to borough, you know, like sometimes neighborhood to neighborhood, like literally block to block. So yeah, so this one is the most traditional drink, I think, on our line. So this one is directly based off of the holiday sorrel drink that you'll see in Jamaica, they have in Trinidad, but also all over the Caribbean and South America, there's sort of like variations of this. We sweeten it, we add a ton of ginger to it, we add coconut to it, which is like our spin, and a bunch of different spices. Yep. It's like cinnamon, nutmeg, clove.
Definitely the cinnamon and nutmeg come out.
Yeah.
It's such a magical experience.
Thank you, thank you.
I would say when I drink it, I feel like I'm in a tropical island. All the, like the fruits, the spices, it's very unique and just very warm tasting as well, so it's comforting and refreshing at the same time.
The flavor is very unique, and the mixture of everything is typical for America, I would say. Always coming up with new things, mixing known things with influences from all over the world, and then you get a very interesting new drink.
All of our drinks are filled with ginger. That's kind of like the base of everything that we do. I think that one of the great things about this country is all the immigrants that make it what it is. And everybody's coming here for the same American dream, you know? I mean, it's kind of like a tried and true recipe for success. You know, you come here to make a better life for your family, for your kids, and you know, you try to accomplish what you can, and then you set your kids up to do better than you, and then they set up their kids to do what's better than them, you know? And I think that that's really what makes this sort of a unique country to live in. Awesome. But thank you guys.
You can't come to our community and say, oh, you guys don't do anything, because all we're going to tell you is just look around. We built it.
It's just where my father was born and raised, and that's where really the culture of mambo music, that mambo sound came from that little small 5-6 blocks of New York City.
This is Dyckman Street. This is a mix of Inwood and Washington Heights. They're kind of like in the middle of both. We still consider it Little Dominican Republic because it's a community that's filled with people like myself, Dominicans. And this is a strip that's all filled with restaurants and entrepreneurs who invested in their community and kind of revamped and kind of raised the economy in this community. Thankful to them because of this strip, you have so many different businesses up here that kind of benefit off of this. And why we have more banks and corporate businesses like Starbucks and so forth. Immigrants, all immigrant owned. You want to capture this. I'm from the Dominican Republic. My parents migrated to New York close to 50 years ago. Our ancestry, majority African, with some small European influence. We always identified ourselves as African descent. And that's just us knowing our history and knowing where we come from. I don't know if there's anyone that's done what the Dominicans have done in such a short time within this community. The value of this community is through the roof. The gentrification has started after we come in here and invested so much into this community. This area here, this was all abandoned. No one wanted to invest into this area, and it took a couple of Dominican brothers and sisters to come in here, put some money together, and open up 1 or 2 businesses. And now we have this beautiful strip of businesses and restaurants that are all Latino, owned, majority Dominican. Because of this strip, we're able to create not only jobs, but provide businesses and income to the other businesses because of the amount of traffic that we're getting from visitors from all over New York City to come want to dine in this area. I'm extremely proud of my heritage. And I'm gonna tell you why. We waited a long time, especially here in this country, to be looked upon as the individuals that we are, the people that we are, hard workers. We're not dependent. Previous to Dominicans being here, we had Puerto Ricans and Cubans in this neighborhood. And we also had Irish, which are all immigrants. So they were most welcoming, especially to Dominicans who didn't speak the language. So when you walk down Dyckman, Dyckman is kind of made up of 2 train lines. So when you walk around Dyckman, we're made up of 2 train lines. The 2 major train lines in New York City, which is the A train and there's the 1 train. Coincidence that both lines run directly to the garment district where the majority of the factories in New York are. So when you look at convenience and when you think about not being able to speak language and how you're able to get from point A to point B without having to communicate a lot, this is the perfect neighborhood. So when an immigrant comes here, such as we did, Dominicans, this was the perfect location for us to get to where we wanted to get to without having to interact and not be able to speak the language. So when you really break down why Washington Heights, a lot of it had to do with convenience on where we are geographically to kind of get to what we're trying to get to. No other community in New York City invests in their community the way Dominicans do. We come in, we're hard workers, we're opening up bodegas, restaurants, taxi service companies, medical clinics, food trucks, vendors. When we talk about hard working, when we talk about creating opportunities, I think of island, I think of Caribbean. That's all we know how to do, is really get to where we want to go and work hard and create. Where are you coming from?
No, I'm coming from work, yeah.
From work?
Yeah.
All right. What it is for you to come, let's say, how easy and accessible is it for you to come after work and be like, yo, dame un chisme? Yeah. Without, tener que joder, cocinar, comprar vaina, you know what I mean? You can just come to our food truck. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can actually come in and get a good meal, a good plate of something for under $10. You don't got to stop at a restaurant or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Of course. So what's your name, brother?
Jose.
Jose Stan. That's my middle name.
Yeah?
Jose.
Pleasure.
Man.
Pleasure.
Yeah, but no, definitely, man. You come out of work and sometimes it's like, wow, man, I just had a long day.
Exactly.
But in your community, you find all the resources. You got the resources, and you got the stuff that you need at home, you know?
And you're not finding that in all the communities in New York City.
Yeah, of course.
It's only here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Arrobichuela. You want arrobichuela? Anywhere. You find it anywhere.
Corner.
Anywhere. If you're from the culture, you definitely appreciate the resources, you know?
Straight up.
Yeah.
You feel like you're home, man.
Yeah,
you're not missing nothing. We got everything that we got at home, we got it here as well, so it's awesome. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. If you're eating 10 meals a week, 15 meals a week, I guarantee you 90% of your meals are not American, is not American food. It belongs to some kind of country, culture. We do a great job of keeping our culture within our language, the arts, music. We do a really, really good job at passing that down for generations. One of the things that even when we were here, and still to this day, and it's not to say only Dominicans, I think this is a Caribbean and an immigrant thing. We make sure that we never lose our culture while we're here. And we try our best to kind of continue to pass that down for generations. You can't come to our community and say, oh, you guys don't do anything, because all we're gonna tell you is just look around. We built it. We took whatever was available for us and we made it into something. And we built generations and we created families and I'm getting goosebumps even saying that. You know what I mean? It's, these are all opportunities that no one handed to us. Just feeding the language barrier, you know. No one handed anything to us. It took years. It took the way I like to kind of say it is that in business terms, it took years of losses so it could be somewhat of a gain for future generations. Our first, they all took losses, you know what I mean? And they took on those losses so that generations after them can succeed and excel in this country. And always keep that word and that term, immigrant, you know, deep in your heart and let it mean something. We shouldn't run away from it. You should hold that close because it does mean something, you know? Guys like Tito Puente we look at as superheroes because they were us. And Tito Puente is just one of those guys. You know, his name will live forever. He represented Latinos to the maximum level. And not only because he's Latino, but he's the best at what he does.
Exciting, exciting, exciting. Bring these in. All right. We got our mic, we're good. Let's get some sticks. This is exciting. Vamos un poquito ahí. Being a Puerto Rican American from New York is the highest honor for me. Our ancestors were immigrants from the island of Puerto Rico, and I'm just proud to be a Hispanic Puerto Rican, born and raised from El Barrio, New York City, and that's just the greatest feeling in the world, especially when it comes to music and how it all came to fruition from that little 7-8 block area called El Barrio, New York City. My grandfather worked for a company in Brooklyn, my father's father, Ernest Anthony Puente Sr., and he lived in Brooklyn for many years, and along with my grandmother, Ercilia Puente. So they resided in Brooklyn, then moved to an area of New York City called El Barrio. It's the east side of Harlem, New York. And they called it Spanish Harlem. And from 116th Street all the way south, all the way down to Central Park, was a very Puerto Rican affiliated community where a lot of Puerto Ricans ended up residing. And then, of course, we brought our culture, our heritage from the island of Puerto Rico to New York City. And of course, we brought the conga drum, the timbal, the bongo, and all that whole Latin culture into that little area of Manhattan. It's just where my father was born and raised, and that's where really the culture of mambo music, especially. That mambo sound came from that little small 5-6 blocks of New York City, and where the likes of Tito Rodriguez and Machito and Tito Puente really brought a sound. It's street music. Mambo and dancing are one and the same. You can't have mambo music without mambo dancers, and mambo dancers need that Latin rhythm of mambo music. And the mambo is the section of music where it's very up-tempo, and the saxophones and the horns come in, and it's a real exciting part of a song. This all comes from Afro-Cuban music. My father played Afro-Cuban music. That's what we're all playing today. Afro-Cuban music, and that mambo section was created mostly from the sounds of Arsenio Rodriguez and Israel Cachao Lopez. And then when my father came in, he came in and brought that whole dancing style into it and became a big band. Today, everybody calls mambo salsa, rumba, guaracha. My father never liked that terminology, salsa. He called it salsa is a sauce that you put on your spaghetti. Salsa is what you eat at the restaurant. The real name of this music is mambo, rumba, cha-cha-cha, guanguanco, son montuno. From the 1940s and 50s and 60s, after the Depression, mambo music was king, and it was very, very popular with all cultures and creeds and races all throughout New York City and around the world at the time. I think throughout my father's career, over 50-year career, he's traveled to every continent except for Antarctica and brought mambo and Latin music to the masses. People just connect with it. Latin music in general brings people together. And that's what pioneers like Tito Puente did, and he brought people together. So being a Latino and seeing that throughout my youth and growing up, I've always noticed when I travel around the world playing my father's music, it always brings peoples, races, creeds, and colors all together. I go to countries where they don't even know the language and they still sing Oye Como Va. We take immense pride in being from the island. My father was a shining star of Puerto Rico. He's always carried that flag of being Hispanic and Puerto Rican around the world. In every concert that he's ever done, he's always mentioned Puerto Rico and the beautiful island. And it's important to take our culture and share it with the world. I don't think there's any more prouder than the Puerto Rican people. Just walk down Fifth Avenue every June for the Puerto Rican Day Parade. You'll see about 1 million of us in the streets of New York City enjoying our Hispanic pride. I've always been compared to Tito Puente. I don't think I can ever replace a king. I'm not the prince, but I am a curator of his music, so I'm glad I get the new generation of those kids today wondering about who he was, and I can continue his legacy and pushing forward his music. I hope my son, Tito Puente Jr. can take over his old man and his grandfather's music and keep that going in perpetuity as well.